Go on the record, please. Good morning, everyone. This is the time and place noticed for hearing in the matter of the application of Dominion Energy Utah to make tariff modifications relating to transportation service. That's Commission Docket number 18-057-T04. My name is Michael Hammer. I am the Commission's designated presiding officer for this hearing. Let's go ahead and take appearances, please.
My name is Jennifer Clark. I'm counsel for Dominion Energy Utah, and I have with me Kelly Mendenhall, who will serve as the company's witness today. We've also brought with us Abby Thomas, and you'll recognize her name from the pre-filed testimony. She does not intend to summarize it today, but is certainly available to be sworn and answer questions should you have any.
Thank you.
And I'm Justin Jetter with the Utah Attorney General's Office. I'm here today representing the Utah Division of Public Utilities. With me at council table is Division Witness Eric Orton, who I intend to call, and he will provide a brief summary of the division's position on this stipulation.
Steve Meekum, representing the American Natural Gas Council.
Mr. Meekum, do you intend to call witness today?
I do not.
Good morning. Gary Dodge on behalf of the Utah Association of Energy Users. Kevin Higgins, who filed testimony in this matter, is here in the hearing room and is prepared to testify if you have questions for him. Otherwise, we want to have him testify.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Dodge. With that, we'll begin. Are there any other preliminary matters?
There are two preliminary matters. The first is that paragraph 8 of the settlement stipulation calls for all pre-filed testimony and exhibits to be admitted, and I wanted to call that to your attention and be sure that we accomplish that today. The second is the stipulation has attachments. One of the attachments is a clean version of the proposed tariff language, and there is an erroneous date at the bottom of each of those tariff sheets. We inadvertently put the September 1st effective date, and I think we had requested a November 1st in-service date. Mr. Mendenhall will correct that on the record, but I wanted to bring that to your attention as well.
Thank you. So should I interpret your remarks as a motion to admit, based on the stipulation, all of the pre-filed exhibits and testimony?
Certainly. Thanks.
Take it there's no objection?
None.
They're admitted. All right. With that, Ms. Clark, please go ahead and call your first witness.
The company calls Kelly B. Mendenhall.
Mr. Mendenhall, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Please state your name and business address for the record.
My name is Kelly Mendenhall, and my business address is 333 South State Street, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Can you identify your employer and your title there?
Yes, I'm the Director of Regulatory and Pricing for Dominion Energy Utah.
And are you prepared with a summary today of the company's position on the settlement stipulation that's been filed?
I am.
Please proceed.
Thank you. On August 1st, 2018, Dominion Energy Utah proposed changes to the following sections of its tariff. Section 3, Interruptible Service, Section 4, Interruptible Sales Service, and Section 5, Transportation Service. The intent of these changes was to provide additional clarification for customers and to create a new hold burn to scheduled quantity restriction, which would give the company another tool to enforce supply imbalances, as well as to provide customers with greater flexibility to manage these imbalances. On September 12, 2018, the Division of Public Utilities, Utah Association of Energy Users, and American Natural Gas Council filed testimony in this matter. Additional rebuttal testimony was filed on September 26, 2018 by the division and ANGC. The parties have since come to agreement on the provisions of the tariff, and this stipulation was filed with the Commission yesterday. And if I could briefly walk you through the changes that were made. If you'll turn to Exhibit C of the stipulation that was filed yesterday. So Exhibit C is the red line legislative version of the tariff. And just a couple minor changes. If you turn to page 3.2, you can see, hopefully, if you've got it in color there, highlighted in blue, some language in its sole discretion. We agreed to remove that bit of language. Then if you turn to page 3.3 of Exhibit C, there in the middle of the page, we added the words each of to clarify that the penalty periods would be each 3-year period. We just want to clarify that a little bit. And then if you turn to page 524, so this is Section 5.06, Customer Imbalance Management, Subpart 4, and this is where the substantive changes were made both in the initial filing with the company as well as the stipulation. So just a few things that were changed here. The original proposal by the company was that all volumes that were outside of the scheduled amount by each customer would be charged a $25 per decatherm penalty. The parties have agreed to change that to, it will be the first 10% outside of that restriction will be charged $5, and then everything above 10% will be charged $25. In addition, we are allowing suppliers to aggregate their volumes by geographic location. And if you flip the page to 525, the different locations are listed there on page 525. Going back to page 524, the company had some overrun language in the tariff. So basically, for example, if you had a customer who had a contractual amount of 100 and they used 101 decatherms, they would be charged 40 decatherms on that overrun of 1 decatherm. We've agreed to eliminate that language from the proposal, from the tariff. And I believe that summarizes the major substantive changes. Oh, one other change. We agreed that on days when we are asking customers to hold burn, or in other words, restrict their usage to the amount of gas that they brought on the system that day, we have agreed that if they bring more gas than they need, we will waive the daily imbalance penalty that is normally applied during those times. So that's the other substantive change on that page. That summarizes the major changes that the parties agreed to, and I would also say we on this tariff put September 1st, 2018 as the effective date on all the sheets, and those dates need to be changed to November 1st, 2018. So the company will make that change and file updated tariff sheets to recognize that change in date. And one more thing. The company believes that the proposed changes are just, reasonable, and in the public interest, and we ask that the commission approve this settlement stipulation with the effective date of November 1st. That concludes my summary.
Mr. Mendenhall is available for cross-examination and commission questions.
Mr. Jeter?
I have no questions.
Nor do I.
Thank you. And no other witnesses, Ms. Clark?
No, thank you.
Mr. Jeter?
Division would like to call and have sworn in Eric Orton.
Mr. Orton, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Orton, would you please state your name and occupation for the record?
My name is Eric Orton. I'm a technical consultant for the Division of Public Utilities.
Thank you. And in the course of your employment, have you had the opportunity to review the initial filing by Dominion Energy Utah in this docket, along with all of the filings from other parties and the final draft that was filed of the proposed tariff changes, as well as the settlement stipulation?
I have, yes.
Do you have a brief summary of the division's recommendation?
I do.
Please go ahead.
Thanks. In this docket, the parties have reached a resolution of our differing positions, which resulted in a stipulation that was filed with the Commission yesterday. From the division's position, this stipulation represents an acceptable compromise. Therefore, the division recommends that the Commission approve the stipulation, as it represents fair and reasonable outcome and is in the public interest. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no further questions. Mr. Orton's available for cross or questions from the Commission.
Any cross-examination?
No, thank you.
And nothing else, Mr. Jeter?
No, that's all. Thank you.
And Mr. Meekum or Mr. Dodge, do you have anything you want to say?
I do not.
UA supports the stipulation.
All right. Anything else before we adjourn then?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.
Jeez. Didn't make it to